With all the upheavals in global football occasioned by life within a world beset by pandemic, a remarkable story of online abuse and a career ruined has gone somewhat under the radar.
Hello and welcome to the News at 10. I'm Hugh Edwards. Fake news, murder, intrigue. We bring you startling news about the events surrounding the resignation of Streatham Rovers manager Taff Goose last week.
Stretton Rovers are a non-league side in South London.
Boutros, Florida, rampaging down the flank. He's slipped it in. It's Legarde. There's a goal. He squeezes it past the goalkeeper. Chris Legarde makes it 1-1. Streatham Rovers have equalised.
Playing in the Xterminate Rat Poison Football League, their fans dream of one day reaching the dizzying heights of neighbouring media darlings Dulwich Hamlet. All that changed this year when their manager Taff Goose resigned from his position at the club with immediate effect.
When I first arrived at this wonderful club, I never thought it would come to this. But recent events have made it impossible for me to stay.
In this episode we ask, who are Streatham Rovers and what happened with their manager?
I grew up in Streatham, a couple of stones throws away from the ground.
Roger Parsnip is a long-standing fan and community, schools and youth engagement officer for Streatham Rovers.
I started going of my own accord from about the age of 6 or 7.
Let's talk a little bit about the history of the club. How long has there been a football club in Streatham?
Well, since 1917.
In 1917, a new club was formed in Streatham, London. The Greyhounds, as they are known by the locals, were made up of a group of conscientious objectors who refused to fight in the First World War.
It was formed by men who were unable to fight at the front during the First World War. That they weren't conscientious objectors. Some rival fans suggest that. That's not the case. They were simply unable to fight at the front, but their injuries didn't stop them playing football. It's been Streatham Rovers ever since. There was, in the 1930s, briefly a Streatham town that tried to muscle in on our patch, but they went to the wall. So, good riddance, because, the town's big enough for one club and one club only.
The club are known as the Greyhounds. Why is that?
We play just off Greyhound Lane, in the Greyhound Lane Stadium. The Children's Supporters Club, its motif is an aubergine. I suppose we could have put an aubergine on there, but for the club, Greyhound was the obvious choice.
The kit colours as well, quite iconic for Streatham Rovers with your green and purple. Tell us about that. How long have they been playing in those colours?
Well, one of the founders was originally from Middlesbrough, up in the northeast, near Scotland. They played in... It was a slightly different shades. It was more of a sort of burgundy red rather than the purple. But they played in that sort of reddish purple and green colour scheme, and he brought it down with him.
But despite their humble beginnings and humble continuings, Streatham Rovers have always striven to keep their feet right at the cutting edge of human endeavour.
Football was increasingly dominated by technology, but this weekend Streatham Rovers plan to go one step further when manager Taff Goose will become the first in history to watch a game live on the touchline via a virtual reality headset.
We caught up with Rovers striker Chris Legarde to learn more about life behind the scenes at the South London club.
Oh mate, it was like space, mate. It was like space-age technology everywhere, like that ice baths, and like a fucking wheelie bin. It was mad. We did these virtual reality, like training fucking sessions as well, lad. So I was playing alongside, legends like Benjani and Eric Jemba and people like Kleberson and all that. It was mad. I even swapped shirts with Patrick Vieira. I was fucking gutted, mate, that it wasn't real, but I was class. I was fucking class, that, mate.
You've recently arrived at Rovers from Mockbeggar and Chainhurst, to a rock bottom of the Xterminate Rat Poison Football League. What was it about the club at Rovers that really attracted you to them?
Mockbeggars was run by monks, and they're not very inspiring monks, they're not very good tactically. I mean, they were just telling us to sort of stay inside, get on the knees, and worship idols and all that. I wasn't into that. I wanted to play football, that's what I'm passionate about, lads.
So how did you end up at the club?
Taff Goose, he has this fucking school academy, for kids and that. It's like 3 to 16-year-olds. But I went there and I was 28 years old and I fucking battered everyone there, like. And, Taff really liked my my fucking style, mate. He thought, I could fucking have a place for that, lads.
What's been the most disappointing thing about life at Rovers?
I thought I'd get to see a few greyhounds, like. I was really looking forward to training greyhounds and, maybe, starting a new business. Because, football, and you can't go on forever, mate, And I was really looking forward to just kind of, get my hands on some dogs, whip them and, beat them and starve them and all. Get them really ready for, greyhound racing. Because I think I would have been good at that. But there's none of that about it. It's a fucking lie, mate. It's a fucking lie.
If Legarde thinks the club is unique, he's not alone.
It's not a club that's run the same as any other one. Like, they have their own blueprint.
Kevin Splash is a fitness coach at Streatham Rovers.
It's nothing I've ever seen before. It's worked to a certain extent. There's been a lot of changes I've had to make as well. Like, I would consider myself to be quite a strict coach, but even this club takes it beyond that. As far as I know, I'm the first actual fitness coach that's joined the club. I started about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I'm pretty new. If you've got a coach that does a bit of everything, then you're only going to reach about 10% with everything. So I feel with myself, I can get them to 100% fitness if they're willing and if they're able. That's the big question.
You've mentioned that you're the first fitness coach that the club has employed. How do you think the players have dealt with a new coach in their regime?
Most of them have responded quite well. There's definitely some cliques within the club, but I think you'll get that anywhere. I've seen a couple of players pointing and laughing a couple of times whenever I've been around, but I think it's just because I'm the new guy, you know what I mean?
How have you found working with the players?
These players are not Premiership quality, and if to be honest, some of them have the potential to be Premiership quality, but it's a long way away. Some of them, they're at that age where they're supposed to be at their peak, and I think if you're supposed to be at your peak and you're playing this level, then you need to up your game.
Obviously, coronavirus has thrown a spanner in the works for a fitness coach like yourself. Do you have any hope that when all this is over, the team can go straight into the football season and challenge for promotion again?
If the players look after themselves during this unfortunate break, then yes, but I have seen a few Instagram stories of some of the players out and about in groups as well, which is unfortunate and it's driving me crazy. I'm still in touch with the lads, but there's only so much I can do from a distance.
And how have you been dealing with it yourself?
Every day is a coaching session for me. I'm my own coach every day, so even whenever I'm not training the players, I'm training myself. Because I would say I'm at about 97% most days, so I'm always striving for that extra 3%.
Dominion Pharmaceuticals have been ordered to pay out damages after a court found that their products had been central within a sports-enhancing drugs ring.
It would be remiss of me if I didn't ask you a question about the club's use of Dominion Pharmaceuticals, obviously tied up in this court case recently.
I feel entirely comfortable with it. It's a company I've used myself for a number of years, so I don't see what the problem is. Like, it is literally just rumours. It's almost like whenever you see a company being successful, people just want to bring it down. But I'll be honest, anytime I've used their products, it's just given me that extra bit that I need.
Do you not worry that your use of Dominion might call into question any achievements that the club make this season?
Well, what I say is bring the cups to the training ground, bring the cups to the matches. I will happily test every single player myself.
But it's not just on the pitch that Streatham Rovers are unique. They're also special off it.
Well, there's been an increase in the fan base in the last sort of 5 or 10 years. Broadly, I welcome it, but a few of them are quite odd, don't do things exactly as I'd like. They're a bit too political. There's nothing wrong with having political opinions, but I don't think the football club is the place to express them, and some of them are a bit over the top. But broadly speaking, we welcome new fans to come into the ground, pay us money, help keep the club going.
The scum lad, they just fucking spitting me, throw shit at me, They say, why haven't you fucking scored again, Chris Legarde, you bastard? And I'm saying, you know what, lad, you want to fucking have it? I'll fucking have it. So, yeah, they're always fucking throwing stuff at me. They're always waiting outside my house, giving me shit, and tipping my bin over, slashing my car, it's fucking awful. I hate the fans. I fucking hate them.
The club itself is most famous, I think, for its long-standing rivalry with Dynamo Catford. How did that rivalry come about?
Well, we've always been the two biggest South London teams in the Surrey and Sussex League, which is now known for sponsorship reasons as the Xterminate Rat Boys and Football League. I mean, there's other teams, nearer teams. Some of them have gone bust, like Norbury United. But yeah, since I was a boy, I absolutely hated Catford. I'm actually, just mentioning it right now, I'm getting quite angry just at the thought of them.
Are there any notable historical events that typify this rivalry?
There was an incident after a cup tie away at Catford where things got out of hand. I mean, it shows how much football's changed. A petrol bomb was thrown through the window of a local orphanage, which was part and parcel of football at the time. It was the early 80s. I mean, a lot of football fans were doing things like that. And we've had a lot of good laughs about it ever since. But, you can't do that nowadays. The game has changed. For the better, I don't know. But, that's where we are.
So that's Streatham Rovers. But who is Taff Goose? And what happened to him? I think to really understand what happened to Taff Goose, we need to talk about an earlier event in the history of Streatham Rovers.
One of the most disgraceful things I've ever experienced in my time as a football fan and as a volunteer on the club committee. What happened was we turn up for the game at Sydenham's ground. Everything's normal. They've got the sandwiches all spread out nice in the boardroom and all that. The team sheet comes and, okay, let's have a look. Who are we up against? Any injuries, all this. And then we have a look, the names, and we realise, one of their strikers is playing at number 3, I think it was. And that's a bit strange. Is he playing at left back? And then we look, and the names, if you read it down the sheet, it spells out SRFCR shit. We were outraged. We were disgusted. Like they claimed it was a coincidence. Of course they would. But I mean, we knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. It very nearly destroyed the club. We lost 3-1. Game we should have won. At least come out of it with a draw. We lose 3-1 because they'd nobbled us. They'd taken our mind off the game. And then it just spirals out of control. People laughing at us on social media. And then that smug little BBC satirical panel show, Have I Got News For You? Then they see fit to do a feature on us, laughing at us.
London rivals Streatham Rovers tweeted this ahead of a meeting between the two teams this week. Here's the team sheet for tonight's game, and we are absolutely furious because Sydney fielded their players to spell out SRFC shit. Beautiful. Streatham went on to tweet, "Glad some of you are finding this amusing, but I'll tell you what, the gaffer has stuck this up in our changing room, and that's it. No need for a team talk. The players will be well up for this." They lost 3-1.
Laughing at, a decent club. The hard work that goes into this. The volunteers, just to be laughed at. It leaves a real sour taste in my mouth, in everyone's mouth involved with the club. And it still goes on. People are like, oh, ha, 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 it's you, the SRFC shit club. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Did the league not do anything about it?
They claimed there was nothing in the rule book which covered it. And we were like, ungentlemanly conduct, or, but they said there was nothing specific to team sheets being used to spell out, rude words. We appealed to the FA, we appealed to UEFA, we kept emailing 10 Downing Street, and we didn't hear anything back. Everyone just seemed to think it was funny, and it's made the club feel very, very, very got at, like everyone's against us. This Sydenham United team sheet thing, it just set a sort of spiral in motion where it just became increasingly acceptable for, idiots on Twitter to just insult the club, insult everyone involved with it. And they started this campaign against the manager, Taff Goose. It started with this hashtag, I want to murder Taff Goose. That wasn't too bad, but then they start sort of spreading this fake news that he'd died. He was actually dead and the club were denying it, like the Soviet Union did with their old leader a few decades ago. People believed it. People turn up to our games absolutely amazed that Taff Goose is there in the dugout because they think he's dead. His own wife, she's got a tendency to believe what she reads online. She thinks he's died twice. Twice she thought he was dead because she got idiots on Twitter claiming he is. It got too much for him. Also, somebody compared him to a cuddly toy version of the Super Mario character as well. I think that was the final straw that pushed him over the edge, and he quit. And, thank God there's no games at the moment. Because, we're rudderless. We're rudderless without Taff. And, it breaks my heart. I've cried like a baby about it. I love that man. He took us to 5 near promotions in 5 consecutive years. A little bit of better luck here and there in occasional games, we'd be a Football League club right now. He's been forced out by these idiots. It's terrible.
How did the Taff Goose debacle impact you as a player?
There was one time, Taff, he sat me down and he was telling me, he said to me straight to my face and he went, Chris, lad, you've got to stop liking and retweeting all of those, I'm dead stuff. And I was like, yeah, Taff, mate, I'm reading all this, lads. It's everywhere on Twitter. 100,000 people are fucking liking this. How do I know it's not true, mate? And he's looking me in the eyes going, Chris, mate, I'm alive. Look, I'm here, ain't I? And I was like, Taff, mate, 100,000 people, are they wrong, mate? And this went back and forth for ages, lads. So all this stuff, it's very confusing, mate. It's very confusing. To be honest, this is what my ma said to me the other day. He makes his head medicine balls, mate. And my ma thinks that's having an effect on me, lad. So sometimes, when there's a tornado inside my head, I just don't know what the fuck's true or not,
I'll be honest, I tried to keep out of it. I sort of had a look on Twitter. I knew there was quite a lot of abuse heading his direction, but maybe a bit selfish. I tried to distance myself from it. All being well, I'll still be at the club. But yeah, he got quite a lot of abuse, as I was saying earlier. It's quite heavy. I don't think he deserved it, I'll be honest. I kind of like his method. It's not to everyone's taste, but some of the guys respond to it, some of the guys don't.
What was Taff like as a human being?
Obviously, Alex Ferguson was known for, the hairdryer treatment, but Taff was more like a wrecking ball. If things weren't going well, the players got it. But as I said, some people respond to that and some people don't.
I really admire him, I mean, he's a bit unconventional, he is. But he keeps you grounded, He keeps you really grounded, He says to me, you know what, Chris? You're my number 10, mate. Right? And he went, you're not just my number 10, you're number 11, yeah? And, add them together, and then take away the 22 in the field, and that's -1, Chris. You're a fucking -1, Chris, lads. That's what you are. And I was like, yeah, you know what? That's keeping me grounded, mate. I came in here really confident in that, and he fucking smashed that to bits. Because I needed to be fucking grounded, So that's the kind of guy that Taff Goose is, lads. Yeah, good man.
So what does the future hold for Streatham Rovers now?
Well, I don't know. I was optimistic when Taff Goose was gaffer because, he's a progressive manager. He's got a plan, got a 5-year plan, which we kept having to delay because of bad luck in the promotion playoffs and stuff. But now, what do? And we can't hire a manager at the moment because you can't do face-to-face interviews in the current global context. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I sometimes genuinely worry we could end up back in the Xterminate Rat Poison Football League Division 1 North. That would be terrible.
I haven't been told anything. I haven't even spoken to him since, so it was very unexpected. Considering I only joined the club a few weeks ago, I wasn't expecting this. I've learned a lot from the last few weeks. It's been a learning experience for me. Fingers crossed I can stay there.
I'll keep scoring, I'm the only guy in this team technically, lads. I'll keep on scoring, and then I'll get them up. But yeah, I think maybe 2 years, I'm getting towards my peak, lad, so you've got to kind of keep thinking and keep progressing, and Taff always understood that, lad. He knew I was a fucking good lad. He was ready for me to move on, he was always trying to get me out. He was saying, I want fucking rid of you, Chris Legarde, I want you out of this fucking club, because he understood my ambitions, mate.
Roger Parsnip is a long-standing fan and community schools and youth engagement officer for the club at Streatham Rovers. Chris Legarde is Streatham Rovers striker and plays at number 10, 11 and -1. Kevin Splash is a fitness coach at the club. This episode was produced by Josh Schneiderweiler, Hugo Chambray and Robert Vaughan, with special thanks to Jonathan Turner and Joel Whittle. I'm John Mackenzie. Thanks for listening to Football Today. If you enjoyed this podcast, why not rate and review it on iTunes, or share an episode with a friend. See you next time.